Good day everyone, we are from Group 4 and we are going to report the trial and execution of Dr. Jose Rizal. I am Jesstony Daoan, your first reporter, followed by Miss DAPAPA ALYANA, DAPAPA Daisy, and DAPULON BESSY. And we are from BSED to B. So, here are our objectives in this report: to know the trials and execution of Rizal, to discuss how Rizal's death became the crowning glory of his leadership, and to expound how Rizal awakened national consciousness among Filipinos. So, malalaman natin dito ang mga pagsubok na hinarap ni Rizal at pati na rin ang pagbitay o pagpatay sa kanya. Malalaman din natin dito kung paano naging makasaysayan ang pamumuno ni Rizal at may paliwanag kung paano ginising ni Rizal ang pambansang kamalayan ng mga Pilipino at namulat ang mga Pilipino sa mga gawain ng mga Espanyol. The trial and execution of Rizal. Rizal's death was an emotional event in our history as it produced a martyr and resulted in some form of social change or transformation in our lives as a people. So, Rizal was put to death for subversion by the dominant political forces. So, he presented a sector of society which had begun to trouble and therefore constituted a real threat to the existing social order. So, matatawag na talagang emosyonal na pangyayari ang kamatayan ni Rizal sa ating kasaysayan, na kung saan sa mga pagbabago na kanyang ginawa sa ating lipunan o mga pagbabago at nabago sa buhay ng mga Pilipino, na kung saan sa pagiging martir ni Rizal, ibinuwis niya ang kanyang buhay para sa ating mga Pilipino. The trials of Rizal. So the Spanish colonial government accused Rizal of the three crimes: the founding of La Liga Filipina, an illegal organization whose single aim was to perpetrate the crime of rebellion. A rebellion which he promoted through his previous activities, and an illegal association. So, ang pagtatag o pag-organisa ni Rizal na La Liga Filipina ay layunin nitong magbuklod ang buong bansa upang maging isang bansang matatag at isang lahi. Ipagtanggol laban sa karahasan, pagtutulungan sa harap ng kagipitan, pagtaguyod ng edukasyon, komersyo at agrikultura, pag-aaral at paglalapat ng mga reforma. Ngunit sabi dito sa trial ni Rizal, ang La Liga Filipina ay isang illegal na organisasyon na kung saan ang layunin nito ay magsagawa ng krimeng rebellion. So, the trial proceeded with the readings of the accusations against Rizal as a principal organizer and a moving spirit of the Philippine insurrection. So, founder of societies of newspaper and who had written books designed to foment and propagate ideas of rebellion and sedition among the people, as well as the principal leader of the anti-government in the country. Kaya naman sa akusasyong krimen, sa rebellion at mga illegal na asosasyon, siya ay pinaratangang parusa na kamatayan at magbayad na ng 325 to 3,250 pesetas o ang former currency ng Spain. The prosecution drew information from the dossier of Rizal which detailed his supervised activities, some of which are the following. So dito ang prosecution ay naghatol o nagbigay ng mga impormasyon patungkol sa mga gawain ni Rizal, whereby these works of Rizal detailed as an overthrowing or to destroy the legally constituted government. So una ay ang pagsusulat niya at ang akda niyang No Limitang Here, the annotations to Morga's History of the Philippines, El Filibusterismo, and the various articles which criticized the friars and suggested their expulsion in order to win independence. Number 2 is the establishments of Masonic lodges, which became the propaganda and fundraising center to support supervised activities, and the establishment of centers in Madrid, Hong Kong, and Manila to propagate his ideas. A severe 5-day preliminary investigation began on November 20, 1896. So, Jose appeared before the judge advocate Colonel Francisco Olive, who detailed the charges against him. So, there are two types of evidence. The documentary and testimonial were presented against Jose Rizal. By Palma 1949 in his translated work, Pride of Malay Race, it made available the documentary evidence which consisted of 15 exhibits as follows. So sa kanyang investigasyon, it was said that meron daw dalawang uri na ebidensya na naiparatang para sa kanya. Ito ay ang documentary at testimonial na investigation. So here are the documentary evidence which consisted of 15 exhibits. Isang sulat ni Antonio Luna to Mariano Ponce sa Madrid noong October 16, 1888 showing Rizal's connection with the Filipino Reform Campaign in Spain. Also, number 2, a letter of Rizal to his family dated Madrid, August 20, 1890 stating that the deportations and good for they will encourage the people to hate tyranny. Number 3, sulat galing kay Marcelo H. del Pilar to Diodato Arellano, dated Madrid, January 7, 1889, implicating Rizal in the propaganda campaign in Spain. Number 4, a poem entitled Kundiman, allegedly written by Rizal in Manila on September 12, 1891. Ikalima ay isang sulat of Carlos Oliver to an unidentified person dated Barcelona on September 18, 1891, described Rizal as the man to free the Philippines from Spanish oppression. So number 6, a Masonic document dated Manila, February 9, 1892, honoring Rizal for his patriotic services. Number 7, a letter signed Dimasalang, Rizal's pseudonym, to Terluz Juan Zuleta's pseudonym, dated Hong Kong on May 24, 1892, stating that he was preparing a safe refuge for Filipinos who may be persecuted by the Spanish authorities. So, number 8, a letter to Dimasalang to an unidentified committee, dated Hong Kong on June 1, 1892, soliciting the aid of the committee in the patriotic work. Number 9, an anonymous and undated letter to the editor of the Hong Kong Telegraph censoring the banishment of Rizal to Dapitan. Number 10, a letter of Ildefonso Laurel to Rizal, dated Manila on September 3, 1892, saying that the Filipino people look up to him as Rizal as their savior. Number 11, sulat galing kay Ildefonso Laurel to Rizal, Manila, 17, 1893, informing an unidentified correspondent of the arrest and banishment of Doroteo Cortes and Ambrosio Salvador. Number 12, sulat ni Marcelo del Pilar to Don Juan A. Tenluz, Juan Zulueta, dated Madrid, June 1, 1893, recommending to establishment of a special organization independent of Masonry to help the cause of the Filipino people. Number 13, a transcript of a speech of Pinkian by Emilio Jacinto in a reunion of the Katipunan on July 23, 1893, in which the following cry was uttered: "Long live the Philippines, long live liberty, long live Dr. Rizal and unity." Number 14, a transcript of a speech of Tiktik by Jose Toriano Santiago in the same Katipunan reunion, wherein the Katipuneros shouted, "Long live the eminent Dr. Rizal, death to the oppressor nation." 15, tula by Laong-Laan Rizal, entitled Atalisay, in which the author makes the Dapitan schoolboys sing that they know how to fight for their rights. So, dito naman makikita ang mga oral testimonies of the following persons. Isa na dito si Martin Constantino, Aguedo del Rosario, Jose Reyes, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Domingo Franco, Diodato Arellano, Ambrosio Salvador, Pedro Serraliano Lactau, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Antonio Salazar, Francisco Quizon, and Timoteo Paez were forwarded as testimonial evidence against Rizal.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. My name is ALYANA DAPAPA, BSED 2B, Group 4, Rizal's Trials and Execution. So, I am the next reporter after Jesstony. On November 26, 1896, Judge Advocate Colonel Francisco Olive forwarded the record of the case to Governor General Ramon Bilanco, who designated Captain Rafael Dominguez as Special Judge Advocate to initiate proceeding against Jose. So, si Colonel Olive is the same person na namuno sa isang kumpanya ng mga sundalo ng 5 taon na ang nakakalipas upang paalisin ang mga tenant sa Calambas sa Laguna, kabilang sa kanila ang pamilya ni Rizal. After studying the papers, Peña submitted the following recommendations. Number 1, agad na dadalhin sa paglilitis ang akusado. Number 2, dapat siyang itago sa bilangguan. Number 3, ang isang order ng attachment ay ibibigay laban sa kanyang ari-arian sa halaga ng 1,000,000 piso bilang bayad pinsala. At number 4, dapat siyang pagdanggol sa korte ng isang opisyal ng hukbo, hindi ng isang sibilyang abogado, Zaid at Zaid 2014. Kasama ang kanyang tagapayo sa kanyang tabi. Ang mga kaso ay binasa kay Jose sa kanyang selda ng bilangguan noong December 1, 1896. Siya ay inakusahan na inisiwalat ni Medina noong 1998 bilang pangunahing tagapag-ayos at ang buhay ng kaluluwa ng paghihimagsik ng mga Pilipino. Ang nagtatag ng mga lipunan, mga periodiko at aklat na nakatuon sa pagpapasigla at pagpapalaganap ng mga ideya ng paghihimagsik. December 13, 1896, ipinadala ni Kapitan Dominguez ang kaso ni Jose sa bagong Gobernador General ng Pilipinas na si General Camilo G. de Polavieja na pumalit kay General Ramon Blanco. Gobernador General Polavieja. Siya ang bagong gobernador at kahalili ni Ramon Blanco. Siya ang piniling mesiyas ng mga praile na ang tanging pag-aalaga ay upang matiyak ang kanilang posisyon kung saan siya ay nakikipagtulungan sa kanila. During the time Jose was in prison cell at Fort Santiago, he penned a manifesto seriously asking the Filipino people to cease the needless and tumultuous war. Tumultuous war, ang isang magulong kaganapang o yugto ng panahon ay nagsasangkot ng maraming panabik at nakakalitong mga kaganapan o damdamin o ang mga magulong pagbabago sa rehiyong nasalanta ng digmaan. Ang paglilitis kay Jose ay nagsimula sa Cuartel de España, isang gusali ng militar noong December 26, 1896 ng alas 8 ng umaga. Dumalo sa paglilitis ang 7 miyembro ng hukuman militar. So these are the 7 members of the military court. Number 1, si Colonel Jose Torres Arjona, ang Pangulo ng Lupon. Ricardo M. Arias, Santiago L. Osorio, Braulio R. Nunes, Manuel Reguera, Fernando P. Rodriguez, and the last one is Manuel D. Escribano. Sinimulan ni Judge Advocate Captain Rafael Dominguez ang paglilitis at ipinaliwanag ang inihain na kaso laban kay Jose. Si Jose ay kinasuhan ng 3 krimen: rebellion, sedisyon at illegal na asosasyon. Don Luis Taviel de Andrade. Defense counsel of Jose tried hard to come up with a convincing defense. He brought an end to this defense by reminding the judge to be fair and avoid vindictiveness in their judgment. Jose confidently read a supplements to his defense. So, tinapos niya ang kanyang depensa sa pamamagitan ng pagpapaalala sa mga hukom na maging patas at iwasan ang paghihiganti sa kanilang paghatol. Si Jose ay kumpiyansa na nagbasa ng suplemento sa kanyang depensa. Jose's supplementary defense as follows. Number 1, he could not be guilty of rebellion, Dr. Raul Valenzuela Indapitan, not to ripe in revolution. Number 2, he did not correspond with the radical revolutionary elements. Number 3, the revolutionists used his name without his knowledge. If he were guilty, he could have escaped in Singapore. Number 4, if he had a hand in the revolution, he could have escaped in Moravinta and would not have built a home, a hospital, and bought lands in Dapitan. Number 5, siya ang pinuno ng revolusyon. Bakit hindi siya nakikipag-ugnay sa mga revolusyonista? Number 6, totoo na isiniwalat niya ang bylaws ng Liga Filipina sa Civic Association, hindi sa Evolutionary Society. Number 7, hindi nagtagal ang Liga Filipina dahil pagkatapos ng unang pagkikita ay pinatapon siya sa Tabritan at ito ay namatay. Number 8, ang Liga ay muling inayos pagkaraan ng 9 na buwan and he did not know it. Number 9, hindi natupad ang liga ng layunin ng mga revolusyonista. Kung hindi ay hindi nila ito pinalitan ng katipunan. Number 10. Kung totoo ngang may mga mapapait na komento sa mga liham ni Rizal ay dahil isinulat ang mga ito noong 1890 nang ang kanyang pamilya ay inuusig bilang inalis ang mga bahay, mga lupang bodega at iba pa, at ang kanyang kapatid at ang kanyang bayaw ay ipinatapon. Number 11. His life in Dapitan had been exemplary as the politico-military commanders and missionary press called arrest. Naging huwaran ang kanyang buhay sa Dapitan dahil maaring arestuhin ng mga commander ng politico-militar at mga paring misyonero. Number 12. It was not true that the revolution was inspired by his one speech at the house of Dorothy Onjanko, as alleged by witnesses whom he would like to confront. His friends knew his opposition to armed rebellion. Why did the Katipunan send an emissary to Dapitan who was unknown to him? Because those who knew him would aware that he would never sanction any violent movement. So, hindi totoo na ang revolusyon ay naging inspirasyon ng kanyang isang talumpati sa bahay ni Dorothy Onjanko, gaya ng sinasabi ng mga saksi na gusto niyang harapin. Alam ng kanyang mga kaibigan ang kanyang pagtutol sa armadong rebellion. Bakit nagpadala ang Katipunan ng isang emisaryo sa Dapitan na hindi niya kilala? Dahil batid ng mga nakakakilala sa kanya na hinding-hindi niya papayagan ang anumang malahas na kilusan. So after a brief deliberation, the members of the military court agreed to convict Jose and sentence him to death. On December 26, 1896, the unjust military court decision was given to Governor General Camilo Chi de Polavieja, who asked the judgment of Judge Advocate General Nicolas de la Peña, who confirmed the death verdict. So, pagkatapos ng maikling deliberasyon, ang mga miyembro ng hukuman militar ay pumayag na mahatulan si Jose at hinatulan siya ng kamatayan. Noong December 26, 1896, ibinigay ang hindi na makatarungang desisyon ng Korte Militar kay Gobernador General Camilo G. de Polavieja na humiling ng hatol ng tagapagtaguyod ng hukom na si General Nicolas de la Peña na kumumpirma sa paghatol ng kamatayan ni Jose Rizal. Noong December 28, 1896, nilagdaan ni Gobernador General Camilo ang desisyon ng Korte Militar na bitayin si Jose Rizal. Presented this decree as follows Medina in 1998. Sa Maynila noong December 28, 1896. Conformably to the foregoing opinion, I approve the sentence dictated the court-martial in the present case by virtue which the death penalty is imposed on the accused Jose Rizal Mercado, which shall be executed by shooting him at 7 o'clock in the morning of the 30th of this month in the field of Bagumbayan. For compliance and the rest may correspond, let this be returned to the Judge Advocate Captain Don Rafael Dominguez. Naaayon sa naunang opinyon, inaprubahan niya ang hatol na idinidikta ng court-martial sa kasalukuyang kaso, kung saan ang parusang kamatayan ay ipinatanaw sa akusado na si Jose Rizal Mercado na dapat papatayin sa pamamagitan ng pagbaril sa kanya sa alas 7 ng umaga ng ika-30 ng buwang ito sa larangan ng Bagumbayan.
I am BESSY DAPULON, reporting to discuss Rizal's execution in Bagumbayan and to assess Rizal's moral legacy on love of country. Let me read the content. After learning the unjust decision of the court-martial, Jose spent the next 24 hours of his remaining life seeing and speaking to his friends, family, and Josephine Bracken, whom he tied the knot with canonically on December 30, 1896, officiated by Father Balaguer. So yun, pagkatapos ng hindi makatarungang paglilitis, Jose spent the remaining 24 hours bonding with his beloved ones, but they have to conform to Orthodox rules. or accepted procedures that is officiated by Father Balagwer. After the reading of the death penalty, Jose opted to spend quiet moments in the prison chapel. He turned into writing when he was left alone in his cell. He penned a letter to his brother Pasiano, another one to his best friend Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, and another letter addressed to his father and mother. Yan. Also, after reading the death penalty, Jose chose to spend his quiet moments alone in the prison chapel para magsulat sa kanyang elder brother Pasiano, Dr. Ferdinand Blumentritt, and to his parents. It is commonly believed that on December 29, 1896, Jose composed his last poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, My Last Farewell. He was able to trust or put it inside an alcohol cooking stove which he gave to his sister Trinidad, to whom he divulged or revealed there is something in it, which is the Jose's last poem, composed without a title and unsigned, was translated in English by Charles E. Derbyshire. So Jose Rizal, before his execution by firing squad at Rizal, or Luneta Park, formerly Bagumbayan, wrote his last poem, Mi Ultimo Adios, My Last Farewell. Interestingly enough, his original writing was said to have no title. So, may ideya ba kayo who was given the title? Well, the title Mi Ultimo Adios was given by Mariano Pans. Mariano Pans, he is a writer and active member of the propaganda movement. In Spain, he was among the founders of La Solidaridad. The poem was Rizal's farewell to his native land. It is an epic poem expressive of idealism, morality, and spirituality. In this poem, Rizal presented a character of a dutiful son, obedient, an understanding brother, an ardent lover or passionate lover, and a faithful friend. He also demonstrated his willingness as a patriot to offer his life for the love of a country. So yun, Rizal's execution became the vehicle to awaken the national consciousness of the Filipinos. It sparked the fire of the Philippine Revolution against the Spanish colonizers, which elevated him as the national hero of the country. That's all. Next.
Good morning, Ma'am. Good morning, classmates. My name is Daisy A. DAPAPA from BESSY 2B, Group 4 Results, Trials, and Execution. So, I am the last reporter after BESSY DAPULON. On December 30, 1896, approximately at 6:30 in the morning, Jose walked toward his death command signaled by a trumpet sound at Fort Santiago. The advance guard of 4 soldiers with bayoneted rifles moved. A few meters behind, Rizal walked calmly with his defense counsel, Lieutenant Taviel de Andrade, on one side and 2 Jesuit priests, Father Mark and Villa Clara, on the other. More well-armed soldiers marched behind him. Rizal was dressed elegantly in a black suit, black derby hat, black shoes, white shirt, and a black tie. Noong Disyembre 30, taong 1896, humigit kumulang alas 6:30 ng umaga, nagsimula ang paglakad ni Jose patungo sa kanyang kamatayan na hudyat ng tunog ng trampeta sa Fort Santiago. Ang advance guard ng 4 na sundalo na may bayoneted rifles ay gumalaw ng ilang metro sa likuran. Kalmadong lumakad si Rizal kasama ang kanyang tagapagtanggol na si Lieutenant Luis Taviel de Andrade sa isang tabi at 2 paring Jesuita na sina Father Mark at Villa Clara sa may kabila. Mas maraming sundalo ang nagmarcha sa likuran niya. Si Rizal ay matikos na nakasuot ng itim na derby na sombrero, itim na sapatos, puting sando at itim na kurbata. Upon reaching the place of execution, Jose noticed the very large number of prying persons and soldiers waiting for them. Jose's request that he be shot facing the firing squad was denied because there was an order to shoot him in the back. The normal pulse of Jose, felt by Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, a Spanish military doctor, proved that he did not fear death. Pagdating sa lugar ng pagbitay, napansin ni Jose ang napakaraming bilang ng mga nag-aabang na tao at mga sundalo na naghihintay sa kanya. Hindi naman pinabulaanaan ang kahilingan ni Jose na barilin ng nakaharap sa firing squad dahil may utos na barilin siya sa likod. Ang normal na pulso ni Jose na naramdaman ni Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, isang Espanyol na doktor ng militar, ay nagpatunay na hindi siya natatakot sa kamatayan. Above the beating of the drums that filled the air was the cold-blooded command, fuego, or fire, which ended Jose's life. He fell to the ground 3 minutes past 7 o'clock in the morning and was declared dead. Expectedly, the passing away of Jose Rizal was greeted with joy by his enemies. On the contrary, those who loved, respected, and supported him were broken-hearted and painfully inflamed. For them, he died a hero and martyr to Philippine freedom. Sa itaas ng paghampas ng mga tambol na pumuno sa hangin ay ang malamig na dugong utos na fuego o apoy na nagtapos sa buhay ni Jose. Siya ay nahulog sa lupa 3 minuto pasado alas 7 ng umaga at idineklara itong patay. Inaasahang ang pagpanaw ni Jose Rizal ay sinalubong ng kagalakan ng kanyang mga kaaway. Sa kabaliktaran, ang nagmamahal, gumagalang at sumusuporta sa kanya ay wasak ang puso at masakit na nag-alab. Para sa kanila, namatay siya bilang bayani at martir sa kalayaan ng Pilipinas.
So, here's the summary of this report. Jose Rizal is regarded as one of the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the attainment of the rights of the Filipinos and of Philippine freedom. Martyrs usually suffer due to their religious faith and beliefs, but a martyr can also suffer persecution and death for advocating, renouncing, and refusing to advocate or renounce a belief as demanded by an external party. Rizal is truly a martyr for demonstrating an unwavering commitment to free for the Filipino from colonial bondage. So, as we all know that Rizal's death was considered as an impactful episode in the Philippine history. Why? Because it was not only in the death of a martyr, but also the birth of reforms in society and of course the transformation of the lives of the Filipinos. So Rizal was charged and put to death for what enemies considered as aversion. So he was also accused in forming an organization that posed a severe threat to existing social order at that time. So even the supposed trial where Rizal could have defended himself was a hoax o isang panlilinlang. So there were a preliminary investigation that ran for 5 days. So after that investigation, Rizal was said to have been informed of charges against him before a judge advocate. So there were 2 kinds of evidence that presented, the documentary evidence and the testimonials with which he could not refute. So during the trial, Rizal defended himself, and when he said that he didn't question the jurisdiction of the court, but he had nothing to admit on the charges against himself as well as of the declarations of the political matters while in exile. And after giving Rizal an opportunity to speak in his defense, the court, after deliberations, rendered its decision finding Rizal the author of rebellion and sentenced him to death. And dito na, with all the pleadings, the court voted for results to be sentenced to death. So Rizal spent his 24 hours in prison cell, and during his last hours, he was visited by his family and wrote a letter. And in the morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal said on his walk from Fort Santiago to Bagumbayan, where he eventually faced his death. So upon the last minute at Fort Santiago, Rizal defied orders from his captors as he was instructed to face the sea and turn his back against the firing squad, but Rizal wanted to do otherwise. Instead, he faced the firing squad to show his innocence of the charges thrown at him, but the Spanish authorities forced him to face backwards and shot him at the back instead of the head. So the shot at the back allowed him to turn his body sidewards to fall in the ground with his face upward. So Rizal's last word as the Jesus Christ was consummatum est, meaning it is finished. Thank you and God bless. We are the Group 4, the Trials and Execution of Rizal. Jesstony Daoan, ALYANA DAPAPA, Daisy DAPAPA, and BESSY DAPULON. We are all from BESSY 2B. Thank you all. God bless.